Good day and welcome to this grow along video where we're sowing leafy greens. In our case today it's two different leafy greens. One is perpetual spinach and the variety is Erbette, though very often when you see perpetual spinach it may not have a variety next to it, but this one is variety Erbette from Vital Seeds. And we're also sowing Chard, Swiss Chard, also known as Leaf Beet, and we're sowing 5 colours, which as its name suggests has 5 different colours in it, from the Seed Co-operative. We're going to be sowing them in modules, and once several plants have germinated and grown on a bit, after about 4 or 6 weeks, we'll then be planting the whole module out into the allotment. Let me show you the seeds. These are the perpetual spinach variety Erbette from Vital Seeds. These are the Swiss Chard, the leaf beet from the Seed Co-operative. Variety is called 5 Colours. You might also see similar variety called Bright Lights. This is the modular tray that we're going to be using. It's a very sturdy modular tray with big holes in the bottom so that you can easily push out the plants once they're well rooted. If you want to use the thinner module trays, you can do that, though it's best if you can afford them to go for something like this, which can be got at container wise, because they will just last an awful lot longer. We are going to be successional sowing these seeds, both the perpetual spinach and the Swiss Chard. So what I'm going to do is sow 8 modules of perpetual spinach and 8 modules of the Swiss Chard, or the leaf beet as it's also called, and I will leave these empty for other sowings that we're going to do next month. Successional sowing means that we sow some seeds now to grow on to plants, and then we sow others later, maybe in 6 weeks or 2 month time, so that we have a succession of harvests. Because if we sowed all of this tray in one go, we would end up with a glut of perpetual spinach and Swiss Chard, which we might not be able to use. Just going to be filling up these 4 front rows, as I said. We're using multi-purpose peat-free compost, which I've said before, which we get the New Horizon brand. We find it pretty good. It's too much in that one, too much in that one. I'm just going to put 3 seeds in each cell. I may thin these depending upon germination. You want them about just over 1 centimetre deep. So this is our perpetual spinach Erbette. Now we've got the Swiss Chard, the leaf beet. Obviously, if you want to use gloves, do. I'm now just pushing those down, making sure that they're well in contact with the compost. topping these up. Then pushing the compost down again to make sure it's in contact with the top of the seed. Then just rough up the top. And now we're going to give them a quick water. I'm just going to put a little bit more compost in those two. And that is job done. One thing I almost forgot to do, label them. So I've put the leaf beet here. I know that anything from here to this label is leaf beet, and anything here to here is perpetual spinach. And then we'll be using these for other sowings next month. That is our modular sowing of perpetual spinach and leaf beet stroke Swiss chard sorted. These will stay in the polytunnel. They will have a cover overnight, but that's mainly to keep mice off. It's not for the additional heat. And in fact, during the day, most of the things that we have in the polytunnel at the moment have their lids off. We will then be planting these out by, I would have thought, the middle of April, maybe the beginning of April, depending on how they grow. We'll be planting the plant modules out then. And at that point, I'll determine when the successional sowing, the next sowing I'm going to do, that means, to ensure continuous harvests. So at that point, I'll decide when it's going to be. It will most probably be somewhere around the end of April. And I think, like with our beetroot, what I will do is I'll do a direct sowing in the soil of our allotment. In the meantime, we'll obviously make sure that the compost that these are growing in is moist but not too wet. And if we get really warm, sunny days where it's not too windy, like it is today, I'll quite happily put these out on the bench, potentially with a cover on or just without a cover. I'll see how it goes. But we'll talk about that in another grow along video when we get to that point. If you do have any questions or comments, please do leave them below. And I'll see you again soon for another grow along video. Bye.